Hello again, welcome back to Ask Dan Anything. And I've got a question about a troublesome flatmate or roommate today. This one's from Haley. She says, I've been watching Brojo for over a year now and have found a lot of your advice very helpful, especially in regards to being compassionate without sacrificing caring for yourself. I just threw that in there because I liked it for me. Anyway, her real question. My question deals with my roommate, who has recently had an incredibly messy breakup with her girlfriend and already has a lot of mental health issues. She's been very defensive lately about pretty much everything, and which is a problem because she's in charge of bills and she already has let the electricity shut off 3 times. When my other roommates confronted her via text, she got nasty, defensive, saying shit happens sometimes, it's not a recurring issue. When we tried to suggest being more open about bills and having a solid schedule, she didn't want that either and got angry that we were even implying that she wasn't doing her part, even though she isn't and has regularly avoided paying. She's been lying about who is paid and stealing from the roommates that make more money, rationalizing it to me that they're doing fine while she's not. She tends to also blame others for her problems, seemingly pulling a person out of a hat to blame for something she usually did herself. How do you deal with someone who refuses to deal with their problems or even admit there is a problem? How do you talk to someone who is already getting so defensive and putting blame on other people? Awesome question. I'm sure anybody watching this has encountered such a person in their life. In fact, a few of you watching might be this person. So let's have a look at this. There's a few things going on. One of the first things to understand is whenever you're having a conflict with somebody else, the first person you need to manage is yourself. There are very few people who are well trained enough to go into an emotional conflict having their own shit totally sorted first. If you can become this kind of person, then these situations will always be easy to resolve. So first and foremost, you need to look at yourself and ask yourself, what am I doing that doesn't help this situation? Before I confront her and her behavior and deal with that, what is it about myself that I need to manage and influence? Because I can see a couple of things coming through in Haley's example that will be easy to generalize for most people. One is that this roommate is having conversations with Haley on the side, admitting things to Haley that aren't getting to the other roommates. So there's not full openness and honesty going on. Haley's keeping secrets. Another thing is that she was confronted via text. So people aren't having these conversations in person. They're not bold, courageous conversations. They're hiding behind text messaging, which so many people do these days for really serious confrontations. Seriously, never use text for anything other than logistics. I can't stress that enough. So there's a few things on Haley's side that need work. But the most important thing is your own inner conflict around control. If you're struggling in a confrontation with someone else, odds are it's because you deep down want to control them. You want to control their behavior. And when you see that you're unable to do that, you get conflicted, which has nothing to do with them. It's your own neediness around control. So first and foremost, to manage this inner conflict we have around neediness for control, which we all have, you need to focus on what you can influence, which is your own behavior. You can't change this flatmate roommate's behavior, but you can manage your own. You can't make her more honest, but you can be honest. You can't make her less defensive, but you can drop your defensiveness. You need to focus on what you can do that would maximize the potential for this confrontation to go well. And after that, at least you'll be able to accurately measure whether you made your best attempt and what action to take next if it doesn't work out. So first is focus on what you can control. The second thing is to help her with her defensiveness. Quite often the reason somebody gets defensive is actually because of the way we've come at them. We've attacked. They're defending naturally as a result of your attack. You can have a confrontation without attacking someone. If you're attacking, it means you're trying to influence their behavior. That's what most people do in a confrontation. They try to control the other person's behavior. If you make this more about expressing yourself honestly and trying to collaborate to find a solution, their defensiveness will come down. To put this in more sort of simple, practical terms, is saying, what can we do about this rather than you're doing this thing wrong and you need to change and all those kinds of pieces of behavior. What I'd suggest for Hayley specifically, because this has already been attempted to be dealt with so poorly, is to actually start with that. Say, look, we're having a problem and we haven't dealt with it well so far. I can tell because of your defensiveness that you feel that we're attacking you. So I want to start again without attacking you. And kind of reset here. Now, this doesn't mean that she'll participate well. It doesn't mean that she'll change her behaviour. From everything you've described, it sounds like you're going to have to get her out of the house in the long term. But this will make sure that by the end of this, you'll know you did the best you could. There are some people you just cannot reason with. But before you decide that they're one of those people, you need to give them the best shot of being reasonable by being reasonable yourself. So once you're sure that you've been reasonable and fair and non-aggressive, and they're still being a dick, then at least you know the next point of action is to cut them out of your life rather than trying to continue working with them. So, you've let go of your need to control her. You've put it to her, look, we've done things poorly up till now, let's start again with a clean slate. What's the best way forward? And you attempt to collaborate. The best way to disarm someone so that you can collaborate is to admit to the faults on your side. You can say, look, I notice I've been attacking you. I notice I haven't been honest with everybody. I've been keeping some secrets with you and not telling them. I notice I let the others text you rather than talk to you face to face. So I've let myself down on this side. So let's both start off. You know, we've both kind of brought this up in an unhelpful way. Let's start again. From there on out, I like to apply what I call the hassle method, which is direct, frequent and consistent confrontations until this is resolved one way or the other. Now, I can't control her behaviour, but I can control mine, and my behaviour will be to keep bringing this up until it's resolved. Daily. This is why I call it the hassle method. I will hassle her with this until she either moves out of frustration or she changes her behaviour. I'm going to keep going. I won't try to make either of those things happen. I'm going to focus on me being persistent. It's a stoic kind of philosophy. I will keep going regardless of the obstacle. So in this situation, if I was Hayley, every morning I'd be bringing this up with this girl. I'd be like, so what are we going to do about this problem today? And have the flatmates there every morning. Okay, so today we need to sort out the finances. Let's talk about it. And let her have her big reaction. No, blah, 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 defensive. But okay, well, we're not going to go and buy food. We're not going to talk about anything else with you until this is resolved. So every time you talk to her, you're like, are you ready to talk about it yet? No? Okay, well, we'll come back in half an hour. You pummel her with this thing until she either submits in terms of coming around to say, okay, let's work on it, let's resolve it, or she goes, fuck you, I'm out of here, and leaves. The third option is if she has more persistence than you, if she's got more stamina to resist than you do to persist, then just kick her out of the house. Because this is an unworkable situation. Understand you cannot control someone else's behaviour. If they refuse to participate, you're left with only one option, and that is to end the situation. So, Hayley, I hope that helps. None of this is a fluffy, easy way of doing it, but the fluffy, easy ways don't work, and they're fake and manipulative. You need to be direct, persistent, honest, courageous, bold, and this will be resolved through that, one way or the other. If any of you guys have questions about confrontations, that's one of my specialties, send them through dan@brojo.co.nz. Send this video out to anybody you know is suffering with terrible flatmates or terrible neighbours or whatever, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'll catch you next time.